Hi and welcome back to Garden Ninja for today's video guide, which is an update on the Wildflower Meadow that I planted last year. If you're new to this series, make sure you go back and watch all the other videos because it will show you how to create your own wildflower meadow no matter what size of garden. Now I'm doing it on a rather large scale, but the method remains the same even if you're just doing a small wildlife strip around your lawn. Anyway, enough about that, let's go and take a look at the meadow in year one. If you've not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you hit the red subscribe button below, where you'll get access to over 120 garden design hints, tips and hacks, and best of all, it's free, so subscribe today. So here we are at the Wildflower Meadow. It's the middle of June, and as you might be able to see behind me, it's looking absolutely spectacular. We've almost got this purple hue that runs through all of the grasses now that they're in flower. We've got the yellow of the buttercups, and then we've got all the beautiful herbaceous perennials that are native to the UK that I planted last year. So let's go and take a look at a few of those specimens. Now these are the oxeye daisies that I grew from seed last year. Now there's quite a few in this meadow. They've not all popped up yet. You can see sort of clumps of them dotted around. But that's not to worry because these are herbaceous perennials. So they're going to take a few years to fully establish. So these are the early adopters. There's a few more over there. But over the next few years these will clump up and set seed. And this whole meadow will start to change and evolve as that process happens. So the Wildflower Meadow garden here is doing really well given it's its first year. Down here, if you follow me, we've got one of the innular heleniums popping up. We've also got them in the middle and towards the back of the meadow, and they're all at different stages, and that's because some of these in the centre get more sun, it's more free draining. These ones here are competing with the grass, so they're going to be a little bit smaller. But what I would say is that with any wildflower meadow or project like this, it's going to take a few years to truly establish. So don't panic if you've got a meadow strip like this that's predominantly grass, buttercups and a few other odds and sods that have popped up. Over time your herbaceous perennials, like I showed you last year, will emerge, but you've just got to let them get established. These are only a year and a half old really. Another 2 or 3 years they'll start to bulk up, they'll set seed, and then they'll start to outcompete the grass. So provided that we mow this just 3 times a year to help keep the competition low, and we remove the clippings, the herbaceous perennials I showed you last year should in time start to even out the balance with the grass. But even with this beautiful purple grass here, I still think the meadow looks gorgeous. Let's go and have a look at another specimen. Now this specimen's a little bit more hidden. If you bob down here with me, and I'll do a close-up, that beauty there is a yarrow or an achillea. Now these are white, these are the sort of native, original yarrows as it were, these achillea. There's about 50 to 60 dotted around, and they will take a few years to clump up, but they're sort of crazy self-seeders, so they will start to spread their seed throughout this meadow and start to populate larger pockets. Now here's a real find. It's an early purple orchid, Orchis muscula, and I'm really surprised that that's popped up because I didn't plan it. and it's just missed out on the mow path. You can see how close the path that I mow is to this beautiful UK orchid, and it's one of the earliest flowering ones here in the UK. So fingers crossed it gets pollinated and we get even more. Here's another fab example of one of the seeds that I sowed last year. It's Linaria vulgaris, otherwise known as common toadflax, also known as a common name of butter and eggs. It's really well hidden and I spotted this one by accident, but I know there are at least 40 dotted around the meadow. Now it forms dense mats so can easily outpeak grasses. It's not parasitic per se, but it will help even up the odds against the grass, and I can't wait to see this flower. So the trees that I planted in the meadow to give it a bit of structure and help it evolve over the years are doing really well. Now I could trim back all this grass to reduce the competition, but to be honest I've been rather busy and the trees don't seem to mind. The Prunus padus at the back looks fab, we've got some birch, we've got this white beam here, and they're all starting to really rock it up and differentiate themselves out of the meadow. So the beauty of any meadow is that it's going to evolve over time, so don't necessarily expect it to look fantastic in year one. It's going to change. Some years you'll get more species of one particular plant, others, maybe other seeds have set and they're more competitive, but it will change and develop and you have to go with that. Now the design I've created here has a mix of native shrubs and trees as well, so that over time they will grow and provide structure and shade, and different parts of the meadow will adapt. So you'll get drier spots where the grass is reduced and maybe shade-loving perennials pop up. We've got other places that are full sun and a bit damper, so it's really going to help this complete mix of diverse plants. But take a look down here. You'd probably just pass this by, but here we've got a viburnum, the Guelder rose, which is a native shrub. I bought that as a bare root. It was maybe a couple of quid, this big, and now, even though it's amongst the grass, it's doing really well, and over time this shrub here will probably far outgrow me. It's got beautiful white flowers, it's great for wildlife. So I'm really excited because this entire area is going to start to metamorphosize and change over the years and create different views, different habitats, and just get better and better as the time goes on. So come and join me as I go through a walk through the meadow. So there we go, the June update in year 1 of the Wildflower Meadow and Garden that I designed last year. I'm really impressed with it so far, and I can't wait for all these other species to start to emerge. There are a few late contenders, but I'm sure they'll pop up in time. It is only June. But by the end of August, beginning of September, it's time for mow number 2. So all of this will be mown down and collected so that the grass doesn't outcompete all of the plants. I'm going to do more updates to show you it as it develops, and if you're doing your own wildflower meadows or no-mow strips, let me know. Pop a comment below, make sure you subscribe, because I've got over 130 garden design hints, tips and hacks to help you make your garden awesome. I've been Garden Ninja, happy gardening.